Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now guides achieving spiritual enlightenment and personal transformation by embracing the present moment. Born from Tolle's profound personal experience of awakening, the book explores how we can free ourselves from the constraints of our minds and live fully in the now. Tolle challenges the notion that our thoughts and emotions define us and introduces a powerful perspective. The present moment is the only reality, and embracing it leads to true peace and joy. The book's teachings are rooted in mindfulness and draw on elements from various spiritual traditions, including Buddhism, Christianity, and Taoism. Tolle's arguments are clear. Our minds, specifically our identification with thoughts, are the source of much of our suffering. The solution lies in transcending this identification and grounding ourselves in the present moment. The introduction sets the stage by outlining Tolle's journey from despair to awakening and providing a roadmap for readers. The themes of self-awareness, detachment from the ego, and surrender to the now are introduced, forming the foundation for the following chapters. Chapter 1. You are not your mind. In the first chapter of The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle introduces a profound idea, the realization that you are not your mind. Most people live their lives believing that their thoughts and emotions define them, but Tolle argues that this identification with the mind creates a false sense of self. This false identity perpetuates suffering as it keeps individuals trapped in an endless cycle of mental noise, overthinking, and self-judgment. Tolle explains that the mind is an incredible tool for solving practical problems, but when it takes over our sense of identity, it becomes a source of pain. The incessant mental chatter, what Tolle calls the voice in your head, pulls people away from the present moment. This voice is preoccupied with dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, creating unnecessary stress and anxiety. For example, one might replay an embarrassing moment from years ago or fret over a potential problem that may never arise. This mental activity is not inherently wrong, but becomes problematic when it dominates our experience of life. The path to freedom begins with awareness. Tolle emphasizes that by observing your thoughts, without identifying with them, you create a space between yourself and your mind. In this space, you realize that your true self is not the mind, but the awareness that observes it. This shift in perspective is liberating and allows individuals to experience a sense of inner peace and clarity. This observer, what Tolle refers to as pure consciousness, is your true essence, untouched by the fleeting nature of thoughts and emotions. Key to this practice is breaking free from the concept of psychological time. While clock time is necessary for practical purposes like scheduling and planning, psychological time refers to the mental habit of reliving past events or projecting into the future. According to Tolle, this attachment to time is an illusion that robs individuals of their ability to fully experience the now. For instance, dwelling on past regrets or constantly worrying about future outcomes prevents you from appreciating the beauty and opportunities of the present moment. To begin the journey of disidentifying from the mind, Tolle encourages readers to practice mindfulness by focusing on their breath, bodily sensations, or the stillness around them. These practices anchor awareness in the present moment and help quiet the mind's chatter. A simple exercise Tolle suggests is to close your eyes and focus on the feeling of your breath entering and leaving your body. Notice the silence and stillness that arises when you do this. Through consistent practice, individuals can develop a stronger connection to the now, freeing themselves from the mental patterns that create suffering. Tolle also introduces the idea of watching the thinker, a practice where you observe your thoughts without judgment. This act of observation creates a separation between you and your mind, allowing you to break free from habitual thought patterns. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I'll never be good enough," instead of believing this thought, you simply notice it as a passing mental event. This awareness diminishes the power of negative thoughts and prevents them from controlling your emotions. Furthermore, Tolle points out that the ego, a mind construct, thrives on identifying with problems, stories, and roles. The ego feeds on time and cannot exist in the now. By stepping into the present moment, you weaken the ego's grip and connect with a deeper sense of being. This detachment from the ego is not about suppressing thoughts or emotions, but about acknowledging them without allowing them to define you. In summary, this chapter lays the foundation for the rest of the book by presenting the idea that the mind is a tool, not your identity. By cultivating awareness and focusing on the present moment, you can transcend the mind's limitations and connect with your true essence. This awareness is the first step toward inner freedom and peace, setting the stage for deeper exploration in the chapters that follow. Chapter 2. Consciousness, the Way Out of Pain. In the second chapter of The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle delves deeply into the nature of emotional pain and how to transcend it. He introduces the concept of the pain body, which he describes as an accumulation of emotional pain that lives within us. This pain body is an energy field consisting of negative emotions and memories, often rooted in past experiences. Tolle emphasizes that the pain body feeds on pain, both from external triggers and from our identification with it. Understanding the pain body. The pain body thrives on unconsciousness. When we are unaware of its influence, it can take over our thoughts and actions, often leading to destructive behavior. Tolle explains that the pain body can manifest as anger, resentment, fear, or sadness. For instance, a minor disagreement might escalate into a heated argument because the pain body has been activated, amplifying emotions disproportionately. This activation can be sudden and overwhelming, making it feel as though we have no control over our reactions. Tolle likens the pain body to a separate entity within us, one that has its own energy and needs. It draws strength from our identification with it. When we say, "I am angry" or "I am hurt," we merge our sense of self with the pain body, allowing it to dominate our thoughts and emotions. However, when we observe the pain body as an external force, we create space for awareness, which begins to dissolve its power. The role of consciousness. The key to overcoming the pain body lies in consciousness. Tolle asserts that the pain body cannot survive in the light of awareness. When we observe it without judgment or resistance, we disrupt its cycle of feeding on negativity. This conscious presence allows us to break free from the patterns of reactivity and emotional pain that have controlled us for so long. One practical method Tolle suggests is to focus on the sensations in your body when the pain body is active. By shifting your attention away from the narrative in your mind and into the physical experience, you anchor yourself in the present moment. For example, if you feel anger rising, instead of fueling it with thoughts like, "This is unfair," bring your awareness to the tightness in your chest or the heat in your face. This practice not only diminishes the pain body's intensity, but also strengthens your connection to the now. Resistance and suffering. Tolle emphasizes that resistance to the present moment is a major source of suffering. Resistance occurs when we mentally oppose what is, wishing for a different reality. For instance, being stuck in traffic might trigger frustration because we resist the fact that we cannot control the situation. This resistance adds a layer of emotional pain to the physical experience. The solution, according to Tolle, is acceptance. Acceptance does not mean passive resignation, but rather a willingness to fully acknowledge the present moment as it is. When we stop resisting, we free ourselves from the additional suffering created by our mental opposition. Tolle writes, "Whatever you accept completely will take you to peace, including the acceptance that you cannot accept." Living in the now. The pain body exists in psychological time, our attachment to the past and future. By focusing on the now, we step out of time and into a state of presence where the pain body cannot survive. Tolle explains that this shift requires practice, but is profoundly transformative. The present moment is free from the burdens of past grievances and future anxieties, offering a space of peace and clarity. To anchor yourself in the now, Tolle suggests simple practices such as observing your breath, feeling the energy in your hands or feet, paying attention to the sounds around you without labeling them. These practices help disrupt the pain body's grip by bringing your attention to the present. Practical steps to transcend pain. 1. Acknowledge the pain body. Recognize when it is active and label it as the pain body, not your true self. Second, shift to awareness. Bring your focus to the present moment and observe the pain body without judgment. 3. Accept what is. Let go of resistance to the current situation and embrace it fully. 4. Stay anchored in the now. Use mindfulness practices to maintain presence and prevent the pain body from regaining control. Freedom through awareness. Tolle concludes the chapter by emphasizing that the journey out of pain is a journey into awareness. By shining the light of consciousness on the pain body, we dissolve its influence and reconnect with our true essence. This process is not about suppressing emotions, but allowing them to arise and pass without becoming entangled. As we deepen our connection to the now, we experience a sense of liberation and inner peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. In summary, this chapter teaches that consciousness is the way out of pain. The pain body is a part of us, but not who we are. By observing it, accepting the present moment, and staying rooted in the now, we can transcend the cycles of suffering and find true freedom. Chapter 3. Moving deeply into the now. In the third chapter of The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle delves into the practical and philosophical aspects of living fully in the present. While the earlier chapters introduce the concept of presence, this chapter emphasizes the importance of immersing oneself in the now. It provides actionable techniques to help readers achieve this state. Tolle explains that the now is not just a fleeting moment, but the eternal, ever-present foundation of life. Breaking free from psychological time. Psychological time is one of the key barriers to living in the now. Unlike clock time, which is necessary for practical purposes such as planning and scheduling, psychological time refers to the mental patterns of dwelling on the past or projecting into the future. Tolle argues that most people live entirely in psychological time, often reliving past traumas or worrying about future uncertainties. These thought patterns create a cycle of suffering because they disconnect individuals from the richness of the present moment. Dwelling on the past. Regret, resentment, and nostalgia are examples of being trapped in the past. Tolle explains that the mind clings to memories as part of its identity, even when those memories cause pain. For instance, someone might replay a personal failure in their mind, reinforcing feelings of inadequacy and shame. These recurring thoughts keep the individual tethered to a past that no longer exists. Worrying about the future. Similarly, fear and anxiety arise from living in a mental projection of the future. The mind imagines potential scenarios, often focusing on worst-case outcomes. For example, a person might worry incessantly about an upcoming job interview, creating stress and tension about an event that hasn't even occurred. This habit of projecting into the future prevents individuals from appreciating the present moment. Tolle emphasizes that both the past and future are mental constructs. The past exists only as memories, and the future exists only as anticipation. Neither has any tangible reality outside of the now. By understanding this, individuals can begin to free themselves from the grip of psychological time and focus on the present. The end of suffering. According to Tolle, suffering arises when individuals resist the present moment. Resistance occurs when people mentally oppose what is, wishing that reality is different. This opposition creates a gap between the individual and the present moment, leading to emotional pain. Examples of resistance: complaining about being stuck in traffic, feeling frustrated with someone's behavior, wishing for circumstances to change rather than accepting them. Tolle explains that resistance amplifies pain and prevents individuals from responding effectively to life's challenges. For example, a person stuck in traffic who resists the situation by complaining or stressing out adds unnecessary emotional turmoil to an already unavoidable reality. The role of acceptance. Acceptance is the antidote to resistance. Tolle clarifies that acceptance does not mean passivity or resignation. Instead, it means fully acknowledging the present moment's reality without judgment. When individuals accept what is, they free themselves from the mental narratives that create suffering. For instance, rather than complaining about traffic, one could use the time to practice mindfulness or listen to an audiobook. A powerful insight. Tolle writes, "Whatever you fight, you strengthen, and what you resist persists." By letting go of resistance and embracing acceptance, individuals dissolve the additional suffering created by their mental opposition. Living in the now. The present moment is the only place where life truly unfolds. Tolle describes the now as a state of pure being, free from the burdens of time. However, living in the now requires a conscious shift away from habitual thought patterns. This shift is not automatic and demands consistent practice. 1. What does living in the world look like? Living in the now means fully engaging with the present moment, whether it's enjoying the taste of food, feeling the sun's warmth, or listening to a loved one speak. It involves bringing full attention to whatever you are doing, rather than letting your mind drift into past regrets or future worries. 2. The role of stillness. Stillness is a gateway to presence. Tolle explains that stillness connects individuals with a deeper sense of being. This stillness is not just external silence, but an inner state of calm and awareness. Practical techniques for presence. Tolle provides several techniques for helping individuals anchor themselves in the present. These practices are simple yet powerful tools for cultivating mindfulness and breaking free from psychological time. 1. Focusing on the breath. The breath is a natural anchor for presence because it always exists in the present moment. By paying attention to the sensations of breathing, such as the feeling of air entering and leaving the nostrils, individuals can quiet the mind and reconnect with the now. 2. Engaging the senses. Tolle encourages readers to use their senses to ground themselves in the present. For example, notice the texture of an object, the sounds in your environment, or the flavors of your food. Sensory awareness bypasses the mind and connects directly to the moment's reality. 3. Observing thoughts without judgment. Instead of trying to stop thoughts, Tolle advises observing them as if they were clouds passing in the sky. This practice creates a sense of detachment and prevents individuals from becoming entangled in their mental narratives. 4. Body awareness. Bringing attention to the physical sensations in the body can also anchor presence. For instance, feel the energy in your hands or the rhythm of your heartbeat. This practice shifts attention away from the mind and into the body. The Power of Now. Tolle explains that the now is not just a fleeting moment, but an eternal, ever-present reality. With its fixation on the past and future, the mind obscures this truth. By living in the now, individuals can access a state of peace and fulfillment that is not dependent on external circumstances. 1. Experiencing joy and freedom. Joy arises naturally when individuals are fully present. This joy is not tied to specific events or outcomes, but reflects alignment with life. 2. Letting go of mental constructs. The mind creates labels, judgments, and narratives that distort reality. By letting go of these mental constructs, individuals can experience life as it truly is. 3. Aligning with life's flow. Living in the now means aligning with the natural flow of life. Instead of resisting or controlling circumstances, individuals learn to trust the unfolding of the present moment. Transformative insights. Tolle provides several transformative insights to deepen one's understanding of presence. 1. You are not your problems. Problems exist only in the mind's projection of the future. Now, there are only situations that need to be addressed or accepted. 2. Time is an illusion. The linear perception of time is a mental construct. The now is eternal and contains all of existence. 3. The present is enough. The mind often seeks fulfillment in the future, but true contentment can only be found in the present. The third chapter of The Power of Now emphasizes the importance of fully embracing the present moment as the key to liberation and fulfillment. By breaking free from psychological time, practicing mindfulness, and aligning with the flow of life, individuals can experience a profound transformation. The now is not just a concept, but a lived experience that holds the potential to dissolve suffering and bring lasting peace. This chapter serves as both a philosophical guide and a practical manual for stepping into the power of the present. Chapter 4. Mind Strategies for Avoiding the Now. In the fourth chapter of The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle explores the mind's resistance to the present moment and its strategies for avoiding the now. He explains that the mind thrives on time-based thinking, dwelling on the past, or projecting into the future. This habit stems from the ego's need to maintain its identity, which is rooted in stories, labels, and attachments. The ego resists presence because the now diminishes control and challenges its existence. Tolle points out that the mind often uses distractions to pull individuals away from the present moment. These distractions can take many forms, such as compulsive thinking, excessive screen time, overworking, or substance use. While these behaviors might offer temporary relief, they perpetuate disconnection and dissatisfaction. For instance, people might binge-watch television or endlessly scroll on their phones to avoid confronting uncomfortable emotions or unresolved issues. These distractions keep individuals in a state of unconsciousness, disconnected from their true essence. Another strategy the mind employs is creating problems that don't exist now. Tolle explains that the ego loves to identify with problems because it strengthens its sense of self. For example, someone might continually replay a conflict in their mind, imagining arguments or outcomes that have no basis in reality. This habit creates unnecessary stress and prevents individuals from fully engaging with the now. Tolle also introduces the concept of the pull of the unmanifested. The unmanifested is the still, silent space beyond form and thought, which serves as a portal to the now. The mind resists this pull because it fears losing its identity. However, accessing the unmanifested allows individuals to experience profound peace and clarity. Tolle suggests mindfulness and meditation to help quiet the mind and connect with this deeper state of being. The chapter emphasizes that becoming aware of the mind's avoidance strategies is the first step toward overcoming them. Tolle encourages readers to observe their thoughts and behaviors without judgment, recognizing when the mind is trying to escape the present moment. By bringing awareness to these patterns, individuals can disrupt the cycle of avoidance and redirect their attention to the now. Finally, Tolle offers practical guidance for overcoming the mind's resistance to presence. He suggests anchoring attention in the body by focusing on physical sensations or practicing mindful breathing. These techniques help ground awareness in the now, making it easier to observe and transcend the mind's strategies for avoidance. By embracing the present moment, individuals can weaken the ego's grip and reconnect with their true selves. In conclusion, this chapter sheds light on how the mind resists presence and offers actionable steps to overcome these barriers. By recognizing and addressing the mind's avoidance strategies, readers can cultivate a deeper connection to the now and experience the peace and freedom that come with it. This chapter builds on the concepts of earlier chapters, emphasizing that awareness and mindfulness are key to dissolving the ego's influence and fully embracing the present moment. Chapter 5. The State of Presence. In Chapter 5 of The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle elaborates on the concept of presence, describing it as the ultimate state of being that allows us to access peace, clarity, and a sense of completeness. Tolle defines presence as full awareness in the present moment, unclouded by the mind's incessant chatter or identification with past and future narratives. This chapter guides understanding the nature of presence and cultivating it as a way of life. What it means to be present. As Tolle explains, presence is not a mental activity but a state of pure being. It goes beyond the intellect and connects us to a deeper level of existence. Being present means giving your full attention to the now without distractions, judgments, or attachments. It is about fully experiencing life as it unfolds, rather than interpreting it through the lens of past experiences or future expectations. Tolle contrasts presence with being trapped in the mind. When we are identified with the mind, our thoughts dominate our awareness, and we become lost in stories about who we are or what might happen. On the other hand, presence frees us from these mental constructs and allows us to experience life directly. For example, instead of worrying about what someone thinks of us, presence invites us to observe the interaction without attaching any narrative. One of the key insights in this chapter is that presence is not something we achieve. It is our natural state. However, the mind and ego create barriers that obscure this state, making it seem inaccessible. The practice of presence involves peeling away these layers of mental noise to reveal the stillness and awareness that have always been there. The power of stillness. Stillness is a central theme in Tolle's discussion of presence. He describes stillness as the essence of presence, a state in which the mind's activity subsides and we connect with the deeper dimensions of our being. Stillness is not simply the absence of noise. It is a profound inner silence that allows us to access the unchanging, eternal aspect of ourselves. Tolle emphasizes that stillness is not an external quality, but an inner quality that can be cultivated through mindfulness and meditation. For example, by focusing on the body's breath or sensations, we create a space of stillness that anchors us in the present moment. In this stillness, we can experience true peace and clarity, free from the distractions of the mind. Overcoming the barriers to presence. The mind, driven by the ego, resists presence because it thrives on time-based thinking. The ego fears the now because it cannot exist in the present moment. It depends on past memories and future projections to sustain its identity. For this reason, the mind employs various strategies to avoid presence, such as distractions, overthinking, and emotional reactivity. Tolle explains that the first step to overcoming these barriers is to become aware of them. Awareness disrupts the mind's patterns and creates a space where presence can arise. For instance, if you notice yourself worrying about an upcoming deadline, you can gently bring your attention back to the present by focusing on your breath or observing your surroundings. Another barrier to presence is the mind's tendency to label and judge experiences. Tolle encourages readers to practice observing their thoughts and feelings without labeling them as good or bad. This non-judgmental awareness helps dissolve the ego's grip and allows us to experience life as it is rather than as we think it should be. Practical techniques for cultivating presence. To help readers cultivate presence, Tolle offers several practical techniques. 1. Mindful breathing. The breath is a natural anchor for presence because it always happens in the now. By focusing on the sensations of breathing, such as the feeling of air entering and leaving the nostrils, we can quiet the mind and connect with the present moment. 2. Body awareness. Bringing attention to the physical sensations in the body helps ground us in the now. For example, feeling the weight of your body on the chair or the sensation of your feet on the ground shifts your awareness away from mental activity and into the present. 3. Sensory awareness. Engaging the senses is another powerful way to cultivate presence. Tolle suggests paying attention to the sounds, sights, and smells around you without labeling them. This practice bypasses the mind and connects you directly to your immediate experience. 4. Observing the mind. Instead of trying to stop your thoughts, observe them as if they were clouds passing in the sky. This practice creates a sense of detachment from the mind and allows you to rest in the awareness that observes the thoughts. 5. Using now as a mantra. Repeating the word now silently to yourself can serve as a reminder to bring your attention back to the present moment whenever you notice your mind wandering. Presence in everyday life. Tolle emphasizes that presence is not confined to meditation or mindfulness exercises. It is a way of life. Every moment offers an opportunity to practice presence, whether during a conversation, while doing household chores, or even amid a challenging situation. For example, instead of rushing through your morning routine with thoughts of the day ahead, you can bring your full attention to each action, feeling the water on your hands as you wash your face, noticing the taste of your breakfast, or simply being aware of your surroundings. These small moments of presence add up and create a more mindful, fulfilling way of living. The role of presence in relationships. Presence also transforms relationships by shifting the focus from ego-driven interactions to genuine connections. Tolle explains that most relationship conflicts arise from the ego's need to be right or assert its identity. When we approach relationships from a state of presence, we let go of these egoic patterns and create space for understanding and compassion. Active listening. Presence enhances the quality of our communication by allowing us to truly listen to others without formulating a response in our minds. This creates a deeper sense of connection and reduces misunderstandings. Letting go of expectations. By practicing presence, we release unrealistic expectations of others and accept them as they are. This acceptance fosters healthier, more authentic relationships. Presence as a portal to the eternal. According to Tolle, one of the most profound aspects of presence is that it connects us to the eternal dimension of existence. The now is not just a moment in time, it is the timeless essence of life itself. When we are present, we access this eternal aspect of ourselves and experience a sense of unity with all of existence. Tolle describes this state as a profound inner stillness in which we feel deeply connected to the universe. This experience transcends the mind and brings peace and fulfillment that cannot be found in external circumstances. The rewards of presence. Living in the state of presence offers numerous benefits, including 1. Inner peace. Presence dissolves the mental noise that creates stress and anxiety, allowing us to experience true peace. 2. Clarity and focus. By staying present, we can approach challenges with greater clarity and focus, make better decisions, and respond more effectively to life's demands. 3. Joy and gratitude. Presence enhances our appreciation for life's simple pleasures, fostering a sense of joy and gratitude. 4. Freedom from the ego. Presence weakens the ego's influence, freeing us from fear, judgment, and attachment patterns that create suffering. The state of presence is both the goal and the foundation of Tolle's teachings in The Power of Now. It is a way of living that connects us to the deeper dimensions of existence and allows us to experience life to its fullest. By cultivating presence through mindfulness practices, embracing stillness, and letting go of the mind's resistance, we can access the peace and joy always available in the now. This chapter serves as a powerful reminder that the present moment is not just a fleeting experience, but the gateway to our true essence and the ultimate source of fulfillment. Chapter 6. The Inner Body. In Chapter 6 of The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle introduces the concept of the inner body as a powerful tool for deepening presence and anchoring oneself in the now. He describes the inner body as the energy field that animates our physical form, a bridge between the material and spiritual aspects of our being. Tolle explains that by directing our attention inward and becoming aware of the sensations within our body, we can quiet the mind, connect with our true essence, and access the deeper dimensions of life. Understanding the inner body. The inner body is not just the physical body, but the vital energy that permeates it. Tolle explains that this energy field is always present and alive, even if we are not consciously aware of it. By shifting our attention inward, we can become attuned to this energy and experience a sense of stillness and peace. This practice helps to ground us in the present moment and move beyond the distractions of the mind. Tolle compares the inner body to a doorway. By stepping into the awareness of our inner body, we access the unmanifested dimension of life, which is beyond thought and form. This state of awareness connects us to the universal consciousness that underlies all existence. The inner body is an anchor to presence. Focusing on the inner body is a powerful way to anchor ourselves in the now. When we direct our attention to the sensations within our body, we interrupt the mind's habitual activity and bring awareness to the present moment. For example, if you are feeling anxious, instead of getting lost in thoughts about the source of your anxiety, you can shift your focus to the energy in your hands or feet. This practice immediately brings you into the now and diminishes the power of negative thoughts. Tolle emphasizes that the inner body is always present and accessible. Even during challenging situations, you can connect with it to regain a sense of calm and clarity. He suggests that this practice is especially helpful during moments of stress or emotional reactivity, as it helps to break the cycle of unconscious patterns. Practical steps to connect with the inner body. Tolle provides simple but effective techniques for becoming aware of the inner body. 1. Start with the hands. Close your eyes and bring your attention to your hands. Can you feel the subtle energy within them? Focus on this sensation without trying to analyze it. This awareness connects you to the inner body. 2. Expand your awareness. Once you are aware of the energy in your hands, expand your focus to include other parts of your body, such as your arms, feet, and torso. Eventually, try to sense the entire energy field of your body as one. 3. Use the inner body as a meditation practice. Spend a few minutes each day focusing on your inner body. This practice not only strengthens your connection to the now, but also enhances your overall sense of well-being. Benefits of inner body awareness. Tolle highlights several benefits of becoming aware of the inner body. 1. Breaking the cycle of overthinking. When we focus on the inner body, we disrupt the mind's compulsive thought patterns and create a space of stillness and presence. 2. Emotional healing. The inner body serves as a safe space where we can process emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. By observing emotions as energy within the body, we can allow them to arise and pass without resistance. 3. Strengthening the connection to being. Awareness of the inner body deepens our connection to our true essence, which exists beyond thought and form. This connection brings a sense of peace and fulfillment that is not dependent on external circumstances. 4. Increased vitality. Tolle explains that being present in the body enhances the flow of life energy, leading to greater physical vitality and mental clarity. The inner body and relationships. The practice of inner body awareness also transforms how we relate to others. Tolle explains that when we are connected to our inner body, we are less likely to react unconsciously to others' behavior. For instance, if someone criticizes you, instead of immediately feeling defensive, you can bring your attention to the sensations in your body. This pause creates a space in which you can respond from a place of presence rather than ego. By staying connected to the inner body, we can bring a sense of calm and presence to our interactions. This not only improves our relationships, but also creates an environment where others feel seen and understood. The inner body as a portal to spiritual awakening. Tolle describes the inner body as a portal to spiritual awakening. When we focus on the energy field within us, we transcend the physical and mental dimensions and connect with the unmanifested, the timeless, formless essence of life. This state of awareness is deeply transformative, offering a sense of unity with the universe and freedom from the limitations of the mind and ego. He emphasizes that the inner body is always accessible, regardless of external circumstances. Whether you are sitting quietly or engaged in daily activities, you can remain connected to this deeper dimension of being. This connection serves as a constant reminder of your true nature, which is beyond the fluctuations of thought and emotion. Challenges in practicing inner body awareness. While the practice of connecting with the inner body is simple, Tolle acknowledges that it can be challenging at first. The mind, accustomed to being in control, may resist the shift in attention. Thoughts might arise, distracting you from the sensations in your body. Tolle advises approaching these challenges with patience and persistence. The key is to gently bring your focus back to the inner body whenever you notice your mind wandering. Tolle also explains that intense emotions or physical discomfort may arise when you begin to practice inner body awareness. This is because the process brings unresolved energy to the surface. Rather than resisting these sensations, he encourages readers to observe them with curiosity and acceptance, allowing them to dissolve naturally. Inner body awareness in daily life. Tolle emphasizes that the practice of inner body awareness is not limited to formal meditation sessions. It can be integrated into daily life, making presence a constant companion. For example, during routine activities, while washing dishes or walking, bring your attention to the sensations in your body. This transforms mundane tasks into opportunities for mindfulness. In conversations, stay aware of your inner body while listening or speaking. This helps you remain present and respond authentically rather than reacting unconsciously. In moments of stress, when faced with a stressful situation, shift your focus to your inner body. This immediately brings you into the now and reduces the power of the stressor. Chapter 6 of The Power of Now offers profound insights into the practice of inner body awareness as a gateway to presence and spiritual awakening. By shifting attention away from the mind and into the body, individuals can access the stillness and vitality of the present moment. This practice not only dissolves mental and emotional patterns, but also deepens the connection to one's true essence. The inner body becomes a constant source of peace, clarity, and strength, empowering individuals to navigate life with grace and presence. Through consistent practice, Inner body awareness becomes a transformative tool for living a more mindful, fulfilled, and awakened life. Chapter 7. Portals into the Unmanifested. In Chapter 7 of The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle delves deeper into the concept of the unmanifested, a state of being beyond the physical world and the limitations of the mind. He describes the unmanifested as the eternal, formless dimension of existence that is the source of all life. While the manifested world comprises forms, objects, and experiences, the unmanifested is a pure being, unchanging and timeless. Tolle explains that accessing the unmanifested allows individuals to transcend their identification with form and connect with the infinite essence of life. Understanding the unmanifested. The unmanifested is not separate from the world of form, but exists as its underlying reality. It is the stillness and emptiness from which all things arise and into which they eventually dissolve. Tolle compares the unmanifested to the silence between words or the space within and around objects. Just as silence gives meaning to sound, the unmanifested gives rise to the world of form. Tolle emphasizes that the mind cannot comprehend the unmanifested because it operates beyond thought and concept. However, it can be directly experienced through presence. When individuals move beyond identification with their thoughts, emotions, and physical forms, they become aware of the timeless essence within themselves, which is the same essence as the unmanifested. The importance of accessing the unmanifested. Accessing the unmanifested is transformative because it frees individuals from the limitations of the ego and the material world. When we are identified solely with the world of form, we experience fear, attachment, and dissatisfaction, because all forms are impermanent. The ego clings to forms in an attempt to find security and fulfillment, but this pursuit inevitably leads to suffering. Tolle explains that by connecting with the unmanifested, we discover a deeper dimension of existence that is free from fear and attachment. This connection brings a sense of peace and wholeness that is not dependent on external circumstances. It allows us to navigate the world of form without being bound by it. Portals into the Unmanifested. Tolle outlines several portals or entry points into the unmanifested. These portals serve as practical ways to connect with the stillness and presence that underlie all of existence. 1. Silence. Silence is a direct portal to the unmanifested because it exists beyond thought and form. By becoming aware of the silence around and within you, you can access the stillness of the unmanifested. For example, take a moment to listen to the silence between sounds or the pauses in a conversation. This practice helps quiet the mind and create space for presence. 2. The gap between thoughts. Between every thought, there is a brief moment of stillness. By paying attention to these gaps, you can connect with the unmanifested. This requires observing your thoughts without judgment and noticing the space between them. 3. The cessation of thinking. When the mind becomes still, even for a moment, you enter the realm of the unmanifested. Meditation or mindfulness can help quiet the mind and create this stillness. 4. Surrender. Letting go of resistance to the present moment allows you to access the unmanifested. Surrendering means fully accepting what is without judgment or attachment. In this state of acceptance, the ego dissolves and the deeper dimension of being becomes apparent. 5. Feeling the inner body. As discussed in the previous chapter, focusing on the sensations within your body anchors you in the now and connects you to the unmanifested. The inner body serves as a bridge between the physical and the formless. 6. Nature. Spending time in nature is another powerful portal to the unmanifested. The stillness of a forest, the vastness of the ocean, or the simplicity of a flower can inspire presence and a sense of connection with the eternal essence of life. Overcoming barriers to the unmanifested. The primary barrier to accessing the unmanifested is identification with the mind and ego. The ego resists presence because it perceives the unmanifested as a threat to its survival. It thrives on attachment to forms and fears losing its sense of identity. Tolle explains that the way to overcome this resistance is through awareness. Observing the mind without identifying with it create space for the unmanifested to emerge. This practice requires patience and persistence, as the mind will naturally try to reassert itself. Another barrier is fear of the unknown. The unmanifested cannot be grasped by the intellect, which may create a sense of unease. Tolle encourages readers to embrace this uncertainty and trust the process of letting go. The peace and stillness of the unmanifested become evident once we release our attachment to form and thought. Living with awareness of the unmanifested, Tolle emphasizes that accessing the unmanifested does not mean abandoning the world of form. Instead, it means navigating life with an awareness of the deeper reality that underlies all forms. This awareness allows us to engage with the world without being consumed. For example, when faced with a challenging situation, connecting with the unmanifested helps us respond with clarity and presence rather than reacting from fear or ego. Similarly, when we experience loss or change, awareness of the unmanifested reminds us that our authentic essence is untouched by these fluctuations. Living with this awareness also transforms how we relate to others. When we see beyond the forms and roles they inhabit, we recognize the same timeless essence within them that we experience within ourselves. This realization fosters compassion, understanding, and a sense of unity. Practical exercises to access the unmanifested, Tolle provides practical exercises to help readers connect with the unmanifested in everyday life. 1. Pause and listen. Take a moment to pause and listen to the silence around you. Notice how the silence is always present, even amidst noise. 2. Mindful observation. Spend time observing nature without labeling or analyzing it. Allow yourself to experience the presence of a tree, flower, or landscape. 3. Body awareness. Regularly bring your attention to the sensations in your body, especially during moments of stress or distraction. 4. Meditation on stillness. Dedicate time each day to sitting in stillness. Focus on your breath or the space within and around you. 5. Acceptance practice. When faced with resistance or discomfort, practice surrender by fully accepting the present moment. The rewards of accessing the unmanifested, Tolle explains that connecting with the unmanifested brings profound benefits. 1. Inner peace. The unmanifested is a source of profound, unshakable peace, transcending external circumstances. 2. Freedom from fear. Awareness of the unmanifested dissolves the ego's fears, revealing a dimension of existence beyond loss or harm. 3. Renewed vitality. Presence in the unmanifested revitalizes the body and mind, fostering a sense of aliveness and clarity. 4. Spiritual awakening. The unmanifested is the foundation of spiritual awakening, offering a direct experience of life's timeless and formless essence. Chapter 7 of The Power of Now invites readers to explore the deeper dimensions of existence by accessing the unmanifested. Through portals such as silence, stillness, and inner body awareness, individuals can transcend the limitations of the mind and ego, experiencing a profound connection with the eternal essence of life. By integrating this awareness into daily life, we find peace and fulfillment and transform our relationships and interactions with the world of form. This chapter serves as a reminder that the true essence of life lies not in external achievements, but in the timeless presence of the unmanifested. Chapter 8. Enlightened Relationships. In Chapter 8 of The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle explores the profound impact of presence on relationships. He explains that most relationships are rooted in unconscious patterns driven by the ego, which leads to conflict, dependency, and dissatisfaction. Enlightened relationships, however, are grounded in presence and free from the ego's influence. Such relationships become spaces for mutual growth, deep connection, and love that transcends attachment or neediness. The role of the ego in relationships. Tolle explains that the ego is central to most relationships, creating illusions and expectations that prevent genuine connection. The ego seeks validation, control, and identity through relationships, often leading to codependency or power struggles. For example, one partner may try to dominate the relationship to assert control, while the other may feel resentful or victimized. The ego also creates a sense of incompleteness, leading individuals to seek fulfillment through another person. Tolle calls this dynamic the addiction to relationships, where one partner depends on the other to feel whole or happy. However, this dependency often results in disappointment because no external relationship can provide lasting fulfillment. Tolle explains that the ego's demands and insecurities resurface when a relationship's initial honeymoon phase ends. This is why many relationships experience conflict or dissatisfaction after the initial excitement fades. The ego's constant need for attention, approval, and superiority creates a cycle of blame, defensiveness, and emotional pain. The pain body in relationships. The pain body, introduced in earlier chapters, also plays a significant role in relationships. Tolle explains that when two people's pain bodies are active, they feed off each other's negativity, escalating conflicts. For instance, a minor disagreement might spiral into a heated argument as each person's pain body becomes more reactive. This dynamic can create a toxic environment where neither partner feels heard or understood. Tolle emphasizes that awareness is the key to breaking free from this cycle. By observing the pain body without identifying with it, individuals can disrupt its influence and respond to their partner with presence rather than reactivity. What are enlightened relationships? According to Tolle, enlightened relationships are free from the ego's grip and rooted in presence. In such relationships, both partners see beyond each other's roles, stories, and behaviors to recognize the essence of their being. This recognition fosters a sense of unity and unconditional love that transcends the limitations of ego-based relationships. Key characteristics of enlightened relationships include 1. Acceptance. Partners accept each other as they are without trying to change or control them. This acceptance creates a safe space for authenticity and growth. 2. Non-attachment. Enlightened relationships are not based on dependency or neediness. Both partners maintain their individuality while sharing a deep connection. 3. Mutual growth. Instead of seeking to fulfill egoic desires, enlightened relationships become opportunities for spiritual growth and self-awareness. Transforming relationships through presence. Tolle offers practical guidance for bringing presence into relationships. 1. Practice active listening. Presence enhances communication by allowing you to truly listen to your partner without formulating a response. This creates a more profound sense of connection and reduces misunderstandings. 2. Observe the ego. Notice when your ego is trying to dominate the relationship, whether through blame, defensiveness, or criticism. By becoming aware of these patterns, you can respond with presence instead of reacting unconsciously. 3. Take responsibility for your emotions. Instead of blaming your partner for your feelings, recognize that your emotions reflect your inner state. This awareness prevents projection and fosters healthier interactions. 4. Stay connected to the now. Bring your attention back to the present moment during conflicts or misunderstandings. Presence diffuses tension and allows for constructive dialogue. The purpose of relationships. Tolle challenges the traditional notion that relationships exist solely for companionship, romance, or procreation. He argues that their deeper purpose is to serve as mirrors that reflect our unconscious patterns and provide growth opportunities. In relationships, the ego's tendencies become more apparent, allowing us to recognize and transcend them. For example, if one partner tends to seek validation, the relationship may reveal this insecurity through conflicts or dissatisfaction. By recognizing this pattern, the individual can address the underlying issue rather than projecting it onto their partner. Tolle also emphasizes that relationships should not be seen as the sole source of fulfillment. While they can enhance our lives, true fulfillment comes from connecting with the now and recognizing our oneness with all of existence. Conflict and forgiveness in relationships. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship, but Tolle explains that presence can transform how we approach and resolve conflicts. When present, we can observe our thoughts and emotions without being controlled. This awareness allows us to respond to conflict with clarity and compassion rather than reactivity. Forgiveness also plays a crucial role in enlightened relationships. Tolle explains that forgiveness is not about condoning harmful behavior, but about releasing the mental and emotional burden of resentment. When we forgive, we free ourselves from the ego's need to hold on to grievances and reclaim our peace. Love beyond attachment. Tolle redefines love as a state of being rather than an emotion or attachment. True love arises from recognizing another person's essence beyond their form or personality. This unconditional love does not depend on the other person's actions or behaviors. In enlightened relationships, love becomes a shared presence that deepens the connection between partners. It is not based on need or dependency, but on mutual recognition of the divine essence within each other. Practical exercises for enlightened relationships. Tolle suggests several practices to cultivate presence in relationships. 1. Presence. Check-ins. Set aside time to practice presence together. This could involve meditating, practicing mindful breathing, or simply sitting silently. 2. Pause. During conflicts. When tension arises, pause and take a few deep breaths before responding. This creates space for awareness and prevents reactive behavior. 3. Express appreciation. Express gratitude to your partner regularly. This practice shifts the focus from criticism to appreciation, strengthening the connection. 4. Engage in shared mindful activities. Participate in activities encouraging mindfulness, such as walking in nature or practicing yoga together. Chapter 8 of The Power of Now provides a transformative perspective on relationships, emphasizing the role of presence in creating deep, authentic connections. Tolle explains that by moving beyond the ego and embracing presence, relationships can become spaces for mutual growth and spiritual awakening. Enlightened relationships are not free from challenges, but they offer opportunities to transcend unconscious patterns and experience a love rooted in acceptance, compassion, and unity. This chapter reminds readers that the journey toward presence is personal and deeply relational, transforming how we connect with others and the world around us. Chapter 9. Beyond Happiness and Unhappiness. Peace is at every step. In Chapter 9 of The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle challenges the conventional pursuit of happiness and introduces the idea of a deeper, more enduring state, inner peace. He explains that joy, as most people understand it, is fleeting and dependent on external circumstances. In contrast, true peace arises from within and is unaffected by life's ups and downs. This chapter provides a roadmap for transcending the duality of happiness and unhappiness and cultivating a state of equanimity that remains constant regardless of life's circumstances. The temporary nature of happiness. Tolle begins by explaining why the pursuit of happiness often leads to disappointment. As commonly understood, happiness is tied to external factors, success, relationships, possessions, or achievements. While these things may bring temporary satisfaction, they are impermanent. When they change or disappear, unhappiness follows. For example, someone might feel elated after getting a promotion, but become stressed when the new role's responsibilities create pressure. Similarly, the joy of acquiring a new possession fades as the novelty wears off. Tolle explains that this cycle of highs and lows keeps individuals trapped in a state of dependency, constantly seeking external validation to feel good. The duality of happiness and unhappiness. Happiness and unhappiness are two sides of the same coin, tied to the ego's attachment to form and outcomes. The ego defines happiness based on its desires and expectations. When those desires are fulfilled, happiness arises. When they are not, unhappiness takes its place. This duality creates a constant state of tension and dissatisfaction. Tolle argues that true peace lies beyond this duality. It is not about eliminating unhappiness or clinging to happiness, but transcending both. By stepping out of the mind's identification with outcomes, individuals can experience a state of equanimity unaffected by external circumstances. What is true peace? According to Tolle, true peace is a state of being that arises from presence. It is not dependent on achieving goals, avoiding challenges, or controlling circumstances. Instead, it comes from accepting the present moment and recognizing life's timeless essence. Tolle describes peace as a state of inner stillness and contentment beneath the surface of thoughts and emotions. It is always available, but the mind's preoccupation with the past and future obscures it. By practicing presence, individuals can access this peace and remain anchored in it, even amidst life's difficulties. Transcending the ego's identification with emotions. The ego thrives on emotional drama, using happiness and unhappiness to reinforce its identity. For instance, the ego may take pride in happiness or use suffering to gain sympathy or attention. Tolle explains that these emotional patterns keep individuals trapped in the ego's grip, preventing them from experiencing true peace. Tolle encourages readers to observe their emotions without identifying with them to transcend these patterns. For example, if you feel angry or sad, instead of saying, "I am angry," you might say, "I am aware of anger arising." This subtle shift creates a space between you and the emotion, allowing you to experience it without being consumed. The role of acceptance. Acceptance is a central theme in this chapter. Tolle explains that peace arises when we fully accept the present moment, regardless of its content. This does not mean passivity or resignation, but a willingness to embrace what is without resistance or judgment. Examples of acceptance. If you are stuck in traffic, instead of complaining or becoming frustrated, you can accept the situation as it is. This acceptance dissolves the tension and allows you to experience peace, even in an inconvenient situation. When facing a challenging emotion, such as grief or disappointment, accepting its presence allows it to flow through you and dissipate naturally, rather than being amplified by resistance. Tolle emphasizes that acceptance does not negate action. It often creates the clarity and presence needed to respond effectively to challenges. For instance, accepting a mistake at work allows you to address it constructively, whereas resisting or denying it only prolongs the problem. Finding peace in the now. The present moment is the gateway to peace because it is free from the mental constructs of the past and future. Tolle explains that much of human unhappiness arises from dwelling on past regrets or worrying about future outcomes. These cognitive patterns create a sense of lack or incompleteness, which fuels the pursuit of happiness in external forms. By shifting attention to the now, individuals can step out of these patterns and connect with the peace that is always present. Tolle suggests practices such as focusing on the breath, observing bodily sensations, or simply noticing the stillness around you. These techniques help quiet the mind and anchor awareness in the present. The difference between joy and happiness. Tolle distinguishes between joy and happiness. Happiness is external and fleeting, dependent on circumstances. On the other hand, joy is an inner quality that arises from presence. It is not tied to any specific event or achievement, but is a natural byproduct of being fully present. For example, you might feel joy while watching a sunset, not because the sunset makes you happy, but because you are fully present in the experience. This joy is not dependent on anything external. It simply reflects your alignment with the now. Peace as your natural state. Tolle explains that you do not achieve peace. It is your natural state. However, the mind and ego create barriers that obscure it. By practicing presence and letting go of attachments, individuals can rediscover the peace that has always been within them. This peace is unshakable because it is not dependent on external conditions. Whether you are experiencing success or failure, gain or loss, the peace of presence remains constant. It is a state of being that transcends the duality of life and allows you to navigate challenges with grace and equanimity. Practical steps to cultivate peace. 1. Practice presence daily. Dedicate daily to mindfulness practices such as meditation, body awareness, or observing your surroundings. These practices help anchor you in the now and connect you to your inner peace. 2. Observe your thoughts. Notice when your mind is creating stories about the past or future. Gently bring your attention back to the present moment. 3. Let go of resistance. When faced with a challenging situation, practice accepting it as it is. This acceptance dissolves resistance and creates space for peace to arise. 4. Focus on gratitude. Cultivate gratitude for the present moment. This will shift your focus from what is lacking to what is already here. 5. Simplify your life. Reduce unnecessary distractions and commitments that pull you away from the present. Simplicity creates space for presence and peace. In Chapter 9, Tolle shifts the focus from the pursuit of happiness to the cultivation of peace. He explains that true peace is not dependent on external circumstances, but arises from within, through presence and acceptance. By transcending the duality of happiness and unhappiness, individuals can experience a state of equanimity that remains constant amidst life's challenges. This chapter invites readers to embrace the now as the ultimate source of fulfillment, reminding them that peace is not something to be sought, but something to be realized in every moment. Chapter 10. The Meaning of Surrender. In the final chapter of The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle explores the transformative power of surrender and its essential role in achieving peace and freedom. As Tolle defines it, surrender is the act of accepting what is in the present moment without resistance or judgment. It is not a sign of weakness or passivity, but an act of inner strength and wisdom. Surrender allows individuals to align with life's natural flow, transcending the ego's need for control and fostering a sense of profound peace. What is surrender? Surrender is the simple but profound act of accepting the present moment as it is. It means letting go of resistance to life and embracing reality, even when it is uncomfortable or unexpected. Tolle emphasizes that surrender does not mean giving up or resigning to a situation, but fully acknowledging its reality without mental opposition. For example, suppose you face a challenge, such as losing a job or experiencing a breakup. In that case, surrender involves accepting the situation rather than resisting it with thoughts like, "This shouldn't have happened," or "I can't deal with this." By accepting the present moment, you free yourself from the additional suffering created by resistance and open the door to clarity and effective action. The ego's resistance to surrender. The ego thrives on resistance because it strengthens its sense of identity. It resists surrender by clinging to narratives about how things should be and trying to control outcomes. The ego equates surrender with defeat, fearing that acceptance will lead to loss or powerlessness. Tolle explains that this resistance creates unnecessary suffering. For example, when we resist the reality of illness, loss, or failure, we add layers of emotional pain to the situation. The ego uses these reactions to reinforce its identity as a victim or as someone who is always fighting against life. Surrender, on the other hand, dissolves the ego's influence. It does not mean passively accepting unfavorable circumstances, but releasing the mental and emotional resistance that amplifies suffering. By letting go of resistance, you create space for new possibilities and solutions to emerge. Acceptance and action. Tolle makes an important distinction between acceptance and action. Surrender does not mean becoming passive or complacent in the face of challenges. Instead, it means fully accepting the present moment as it is and responding to it from a place of clarity and presence. Examples of acceptance and action. If you are stuck in traffic, surrender involves accepting the reality of the situation rather than becoming frustrated or angry. This acceptance may lead you to use the time to listen to an audiobook or practice mindful breathing. If you lose your job, surrender involves acknowledging the loss without resisting it emotionally. You can take constructive steps to find new opportunities from this place of acceptance. Tolle emphasizes that acceptance creates the mental and emotional space needed for effective action. When one surrenders to the present moment, they no longer react out of fear or resistance, but respond with clarity and purpose. The role of surrender in pain and suffering. Tolle explains that surrender is particularly powerful in transforming pain and suffering. Pain, whether physical or emotional, often triggers resistance and mental narratives that amplify suffering. For example, when experiencing physical pain, the mind might add thoughts like, "This is unbearable," or "Why is this happening to me?" These thoughts intensify the pain by adding emotional suffering to the physical discomfort. Surrendering to pain means fully experiencing it without resistance or judgment. Tolle suggests focusing on pain sensations without labeling them as good or bad. This practice shifts your attention away from the mind's narratives and into the present moment, reducing the emotional burden of pain. Similarly, surrender can transform emotional suffering. For instance, if you feel grief or sadness, Resisting these emotions often prolongs and intensifies them. By surrendering to the emotion, allowing it to be felt fully without judgment, you will enable it to flow through you and eventually dissipate. This process brings a sense of relief and peace that resistance cannot achieve. Surrender as inner alignment. Surrender is not only about accepting external circumstances, but also about aligning with your inner being. Tolle explains that surrender involves letting go of the ego's need to control, dominate, or achieve, and instead trusting the flow of life. This inner alignment connects you to the deeper intelligence of the universe, allowing you to act from a place of wisdom and intuition. When you surrender, you stop fighting against life and begin to flow with it. This alignment does not mean giving up on goals or aspirations, but pursuing them without attachment to outcomes. For example, you might work toward a promotion while accepting the possibility that it may not happen. This balance of effort and detachment creates a sense of ease and freedom. The relationship between surrender and the now Tolle emphasizes that surrender is inseparable from living in the now. Surrender requires being fully present, as resistance arises from attachment to past grievances or future fears. By embracing the now, you naturally let go of resistance and align with life as it unfolds. For example, if you are worried about an upcoming presentation, surrender involves bringing your attention to the present moment, rather than obsessing over future outcomes. Now, you can prepare for the presentation without being overwhelmed by fear or anxiety. Tolle suggests that practicing presence is the foundation of surrender. The more you cultivate awareness of the present moment, the easier it becomes to let go of resistance and embrace life as it is. Practical exercises for surrender. Tolle offers practical steps for practicing surrender in daily life. 1. Notice resistance. Pay attention to moments when you feel resistance to the present moment. This might manifest as frustration, anxiety, or mental opposition. 2. Shift to acceptance. Consciously choose to accept the situation as it is. For example, if you are waiting in a long line, acknowledge the reality of waiting without resisting it emotionally. 3. Focus on the now. Bring your attention to the present moment through mindfulness practices such as observing your breath or sensing your inner body. 4. Let go of labels and judgments. Practice observing situations without labeling them as good or bad. This non-judgmental awareness helps dissolve resistance. 5. Surrender to emotions. When experiencing strong emotions, allow them to arise without suppressing or clinging to them. Observe the sensations in your body and let the feelings pass naturally. The Freedom of Surrender Tolle concludes the chapter by emphasizing the profound freedom that comes with surrender. When you stop resisting life, you release the burdens of fear, stress, and dissatisfaction. This freedom is not about escaping life's challenges, but approaching them with peace and clarity. Surrender also brings a deeper connection to your true self. By letting go of the ego's attachments and fears, you align with the essence of your being, which is beyond thought and form. This alignment fosters a sense of wholeness and fulfillment that external circumstances cannot provide. In Chapter 10, Tolle presents surrender as the ultimate key to peace and freedom. Individuals can transcend the ego's grip and align with life's natural flow by accepting the present moment without resistance. Surrender transforms pain, reduces suffering, and opens the door to more profound wisdom and clarity. This chapter is a powerful reminder that true freedom comes not from controlling life, but from embracing it fully. We reconnect with our true essence through surrender and discover the peace that has always been within us. The final section of The Power of Now summarizes and synthesizes the book's central teachings. Eckhart Tolle reiterates the transformative power of living in the now, encouraging readers to embrace presence as the foundation for a life free from suffering. He emphasizes that the journey into the now is both a return to our natural state and a profound spiritual awakening that connects us with the deeper essence of existence. The Core Teachings Revisited Tolle revisits the key principles explored throughout the book. 1. The present moment is all there is. The now is the only reality. The past exists as memories, and the future as projections, both mental constructs. By fully embracing the present moment, we free ourselves from The limitations of time-based thinking. 2. The mind is a tool, not your identity. The incessant chatter of the mind, driven by the ego, creates unnecessary suffering. Awareness of this mental activity allows us to detach from it and experience the stillness of presence. 3. Suffering comes from resistance. Resistance to what is creates emotional pain. Regardless of its content, acceptance of the present moment dissolves this resistance and brings peace. 4. Presence connects us to our true self. Beyond the mind and ego lies a timeless essence that is our true nature. This essence is unchanging, peaceful, and deeply connected to the universe. 5. The inner body is a gateway to the now. Focusing on the sensations within the body helps anchor awareness in the present moment and serves as a portal to deeper states of being. 6. Surrender brings freedom. Letting go of resistance and embracing the flow of life opens the door to true liberation and joy. The challenges of living in the now. Tolle acknowledges that living in the now is not always easy, especially in a world that values busyness, achievement, and constant mental activity. The ego resists presence because it fears losing its sense of identity. Similarly, societal norms often encourage attachment to time, material success, and external validation. Despite these challenges, Tolle assures readers that presence is always accessible. It requires consistent practice and a willingness to observe the mind without judgment. Over time, this practice becomes more natural, allowing the now to become the foundation of everyday life. Practical application. The conclusion emphasizes that the teachings of the power of now are not abstract concepts, but practical tools for transformation. Tolle encourages readers to incorporate presence into daily activities, such as mindful breathing. Take moments throughout the day to focus on your breath and return to the now. Body awareness. Stay connected to the sensations within your body, especially during stressful or challenging situations. Observation without judgment. Practice observing your thoughts and emotions without labeling them as good or bad. Acceptance in action. Respond to life's challenges from a place of acceptance rather than resistance, allowing clarity and creativity to guide your actions. The rewards of presence. Tolle concludes by highlighting the profound benefits of living in the now. 1. Inner peace. Presence dissolves the mental and emotional patterns that create suffering, allowing for a sense of deep, unshakable peace. 2. Freedom from ego. By stepping out of the ego's influence, we free ourselves from fear, attachment, and the need for external validation. 3. Connection to the universe. Presence fosters a sense of unity with all of existence, revealing the interconnectedness of life. 4. Enhanced relationships. Living in the now transforms relationships by replacing ego-driven interactions with genuine connection and understanding. 5. A meaningful life. Presence allows us to fully experience the richness of life, finding joy and meaning in even the simplest moments. In his closing words, Tolle invites readers to take the teachings of the power of now beyond the pages of the book and into their everyday lives. He reminds us that the now is always accessible, no matter the circumstances, and that every moment offers an opportunity to return to presence. By embracing the power of the present moment, we unlock the door to a life of peace, freedom, and fulfillment. Tolle leaves readers with the understanding that the journey into the now is not just a personal transformation, but a contribution to the greater collective consciousness. As more individuals awaken to the power of presence, the ripple effects create a more peaceful, compassionate, and awakened world. Thank you for exploring the profound teachings of the power of now with us. If you found value in this summary, take the first step toward transforming your life by embracing presence and living in the now. Start small, pause, breathe, and observe your thoughts and surroundings. Remember, the journey to inner peace begins at this very moment. If this resonates with you, please support our channel by liking this video, subscribing for more insightful content, and sharing it with others who could benefit from these timeless teachings. Let us know in the comments how you plan to incorporate the power of the present moment into your life. Join us on this journey of self-awareness and transformation. Together, we can inspire a more mindful and peaceful world, one present moment at a time. Until next time, stay grounded, stay present, and keep unlocking the power of now.